Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm talking about healing your anxiety from within. And one of the ways that we do that is by changing our diet. Transform your diet, transform your mind. So I get the question sometimes from clients, can changing your diet really help anxiety? It's almost like, come on now. And so I wanted to both start and end today's episode with a few life-saving words from Hippocrates. And he said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." And I just want you to take that in, because I don't think we look at our relationship with food in a way that could actually be getting us closer to letting food be our medicine, and when we need, having our medicine be our food. So let's just hold that thought as we go through today's episode. And if you have questions, please send them, anxietycoachespodcast@gmail.com. So our diet can affect our anxiety on a number of different levels. If you are tired of only using medications for your anxiety, if you find that your medications aren't doing what they used to do, or you're not happy on medication, or you've never tried medication and you don't know if you should, maybe you can consider how you can incorporate lifestyle changes. And today's lifestyle change that we are talking about is diet modifications to help your anxiety. This will also help depression and other things in our mental health. But today we're talking specifically about our anxiety. As with any change that you may be considering in your world that is related to your health, talk to your healthcare practitioner or your healthcare team, whoever it is that you see for your wellness and your health. And tell them about the concerns that you have and ask them the questions. These are very general suggestions that I'm going to go over today. We are all different. And it can also be the way that you can make huge differences in your anxiety and or your depression by making these changes. But I am not your healthcare professional. If you have specific diseases or illnesses, or your anxiety is being medicated, please check in with the people that are helping you along your journey. That's what they're there for. Now, nutrition is vastly overlooked when it comes to healthcare concerns, which is why I want to talk to you about it today. Most physicians, doctors in particular, have very little training in nutrition, and they have even less time to dig through your dietary behaviors with you. So they may refer you to an expert in that field to help you make the changes needed for your best health and wellness. Now, this is something I did for many, many, many years with many, many different people. And if you want some nutritional guidance, reach out to me. If I can't help you, I will send you to someone who can help you. But today's show, just in and of itself, can get you really making big changes. You can do this on your own. This is your body. And I want you to pay attention to how you feel. And as we talked about in our group coaching membership, using a journal to do this is a wonderful practice, because the mind is not so good at keeping track of the details about what we eat or what we didn't eat and how we felt, or making those connections. And I want to tell you, over all of the years, it was about 12 years that I worked with people, having them do their food and feeling journals with me, and they would bring them. This is back when I was seeing only people in person, and they would bring their journal pages with them, and I had them keep them in a binder. I mean, these were the old paper days, right? Now, people don't seem to use paper so much anymore, but it's a wonderful tool, let me tell you, because we could sit together and go through these pages and look at them. They filled out all of the fields that I had listed up for them and how they felt when they ate, how they felt after they ate, what it was they ate. And then we could actually see over time, just immediately from the time they ate it to the time they finished, but over time, over the day, over the week, because a lot of these changes don't happen immediately. They happen over time. And we can start to pull those threads and see exactly what's going on and where the changes need to be made. So with that in mind, that's a food and feeling journal, and I highly suggest that you write down what you're eating and how you're feeling at the bare minimum, and then you can at least be looking back and seeing where some changes could be made. So I do have some dietary strategies here for you to help lessen your anxiety symptoms. The first one is very obvious, but it may not be to the general public. Eliminate alcohol. Although there's a belief that alcohol can relax the body, it can be seriously harmful to those with anxiety. As a matter of fact, alcohol has been an entry point to many people to the world of anxiety and panic. Alcohol affects the body in so many different ways, including making you more dehydrated. It can affect hormone levels, and there are many other things that it can do that can lead you to anxiety. If you drink too much, you may not be eating enough food or the right food. Alcohol has a lot of calories, and many alcohols have a lot of carbohydrates, but they're not always healthy. Not getting the right nutrition can hurt your entire body and increase your anxiety. So avoid using alcohol as a substitute for your lunch or dinner, which, not in every circle, but in many circles, that is a common theme. Alcohol being a part of a meal, if not the whole meal. So get away from that, because you need the nutrition that is in those lunches and dinners. And experts point out that the toxins in alcohol can increase anxiety attacks. And that's why, like I said earlier, that alcohol, for many of my clients in the past, the alcohol has been the entry point to their panic attacks. So steer clear of alcohol. That is number one. Now, the second one I have for you is to watch out for caffeine. We talk about that here a lot, but many people still refuse to let go of the caffeine. I get it. I like drinks that have caffeine in them, and I've had to learn to enjoy them decaf. I used caffeine for a long time, but then when I got sick, I think it was when I had COVID, and I didn't have caffeine. Well, on top of being sick, I also had caffeine withdrawal. And I said, I'm not going to go back to the caffeine again. I did go back to it for a little bit and then went off it again. Because actually, I have found when I want to have a coffee drink, I actually don't mind it being decaf. And I go to a coffee shop or my own beans that do not have caffeine in them. And it may not be easy for you to stop your coffee or tea habit or your Red Bull, or I'm trying to think whatever the other drinks are. Lots of things, lots of not only drinks, but supplements have caffeine in them. And if you are caffeine sensitive, like I don't think I am caffeine sensitive. I probably could have the caffeine now, but I really don't want to ride that ride. So I think, why do I want to add something to my body that makes my body think I am in danger and stressed? And that's what we're doing when we drink or eat caffeine. So, eliminate caffeine and help reduce your anxiety, because coffee or caffeine can act as a stimulant, especially when you are anxious. And it increases your heart rate, which for some people immediately puts them in a panic attack. They can't even exercise because increased heart rate makes them think that they are having a panic attack. And what happens then? Then they go down that wormhole. Caffeine is also addictive, so you may have trouble eliminating it at first. Pay attention to the hidden sources such as dark chocolate and other products and supplements, like I said, because if you are caffeine sensitive, even those little bits of caffeine might be too much for you. So check your caffeine. The third one I have for you is to beware of refined sugars. We all know that we shouldn't have too much sugar, but also we don't really pay attention to where we're having too much sugar. And refined sugars can make anxiety so much worse. And these sugars, these refined sugars, are hiding in many of the foods that you may be eating. If you eat packaged food products, you want to check the label, because actually refined sugar could be in your pasta sauce. And if you are really struggling with anxiety, it is just the right thing for you to do as many of these steps as you can. Because if this could make you feel better, why wouldn't you do it? And just like the fact that I gave up caffeine, I gave it up for like 10 years, long time ago. And I cleared my anxiety and panic. I didn't go there anymore. I added caffeine back in. I can have it or not have it. But why would I add that to my stress load? I'm just not going to do it. I can handle it, but I don't need to. And so many things in life we cannot control. That's one of the things I can take care of. And so I do. And sugars is another one. These types of sugars that are hiding can be in a variety of different products. Carefully read your packaged food labels to ensure that there are no refined sugars as you are bringing yourself out of this anxiety panic wormhole. Sugar acts like a stimulant, so your anxiety symptoms may increase when you have refined sugars. And these sugars can be in many things that you're not suspecting, including baked goods such as bagels even. Who would think the sugar was in the bagel? Cereals, oatmeals, crackers, and other products that might look and even not taste sweet, but there is refined sugar in them. So just check the package. Even canned vegetables, and like I said, pasta sauce may have unnecessary added sugar. So do your homework and check your labels. The fourth thing I want you to do is to get enough B vitamins. Research shows that the lack of B vitamins in your body can contribute to increased anxiety. So paying attention to how many B vitamins are in your diet. You also may want to supplement with B vitamins. Now that's another show altogether we can do on supplementation, but it's actually easy to get dietary B vitamins, and it's easy to get deficient in these vitamins because when we are highly stressed, we burn through these B vitamins very quickly. So I want to make sure that your diet is filled with beets and beet leaves and broccoli and cabbage. It can be red, white, Chinese, whatever cabbage. Carrots, cauliflower, collard greens, eggplants, kale, lima beans, mushrooms, shiitake in particular, mustard greens, parsley, parsnips, peppers. Yep, green, yellow, red, jalapeno, whatever, peppers. Potatoes, sweet or regular. Sprouts, Brussels sprouts, yams, all types of yams. That's just the beginning. Those are the highly beneficial vegetables. Give them a try. Add those things. Just get more of them. Consider eating asparagus and avocados because studies have revealed that these two vegetables can lessen the symptoms of depression and anxiety. Avocado has B vitamins and asparagus is really high in folic acid. Why not give them a try? They're a great addition to anybody's dinner plate. I also want you, number 5 here, to look for your own triggers, and I want you to eliminate them. You might have very specific food triggers that cause you to be anxious. So it's important to determine which foods negatively affect you in that way. In some cases, anxiety-triggering foods or beverages are linked to traumatic events. So our mind and body are so connected here. A difficult memory can arise to the surface after eating or drinking an anxiety-triggering food, causing you to have anxiety or even a panic attack. In other cases, food intolerances and allergies can cause anxiety. There are reports that show some people react to dairy. It can mimic some of the symptoms of anxiety. So this is, again, you can start to see where this food and feelings journal can really help you. Many of the common triggers include things like dairy, gluten, processed foods, sodas, meaning the sugars, and fried foods. So keep a food journal and track how you feel after eating dairy, fried foods, or other things that you suspect may be triggers. It would be wise to get those out anyway, because they will make you heal in many other ways that you might not have even known you were going down in. But specifically for your anxiety, keep a food journal and track how you feel after eating these triggering foods. Make a note about your emotional well-being before and after eating each item. This will help you narrow down the list and make it easier to see what food definitely has to go. The food that enters your body can affect more than just your weight. It can affect anxiety levels, so pay attention to what you eat each day and keep track of anxiety symptoms that manifest themselves after you eat certain foods. Now, we recently covered the food and mood idea in our group coaching, and I just want to give you a couple of highlights from that cheat sheet that I made up for them in there. You know, you're not alone if you feel off after eating certain foods. And food sensitivities are not the same as food allergies. We kind of covered that. Trying to find a couple of other things I can pull out here for you. Starting that food journal, that is a great idea. You really should get on that. And do it for 2 weeks is what I would like to say, for you to then go back and go over and see what is happening there. You could also try an elimination diet. We talked about that, where you go off of a lot of your suspected foods for a few weeks and then you reintroduce them one at a time. And that can be handy for you to be writing all of that down as you add them in, how you are feeling. Planning your meals is a great idea. You can plan to prepare meals at home where you can control the ingredients while you're checking into all of this. And this reduces the risk of accidentally consuming, let's use dairy or gluten right off the bat that may be in almost everything that's in a packaged product or at a restaurant. If you plan your meals and prepare at home for those 2 weeks while you're doing a bit of an elimination diet, you might be surprised how different you feel. And finally, before I let you go, I have a whole big long cheat sheet that I had here, but stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water can help you flush out irritants and keep your digestive system running smoothly. So stay hydrated and you can really be keeping yourself in better shape. I hope that this was helpful for you. And again, if you have questions about food, this is very much my wheelhouse. So send me an email or jump into our group coaching and we can chat about it in there. And I hope that you will take this seriously because I have seen incredible results when people pay attention to the food they are eating. And now for today's quote. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. That's from Hippocrates. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.